Yeah, all right. So here we go. At Nath Jacobson, okay, or at Nath_Jacobson. I'm not really sure there, but why are the Jets not in the conversation for Lamar Jackson? Haven't seen it anywhere. Am I missing something? Well,
Sure.
that would be like to what Dad has said here. You talk about teams that maybe come out of the woodworks here over the next week. If they don't get the answer they want from Aaron Rodgers and that doesn't happen, then I wouldn't be shocked to start to hear, wait, Joe Douglas, who's got a history, with the Baltimore Ravens and worked there at one point, that all of a sudden they're interested in Lamar Jackson. I wouldn't be shocked. One of those teams I think that, I agree with you, Dad, that could kind of, start to rise in this conversation as they start to realize, wait, what are we going to do with this position? Aaron Rodgers is our main target, but maybe now we turn our attention to a Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I think that's possible. I think the Jets, though, they want a veteran. Yeah, I think I heard you talk about it this morning. This is what I've always believed, that they go out there, if they get Aaron Rodgers, that gives Zach Wilson, they'd like to see and not make this rash decision and just get rid of him. Let's give him a little more time and see if he turns into the quarterback we think he could be or should be. And I think that's a big driving force for the New York Jets.
Yeah.
Short tenure with Aaron Rodgers. And after 1 year or 2 years, whatever that happens to be, is Zach Wilson really ready by then to take over? And, what's the rush with all these things with quarterbacks sometimes? It's just such year to year, game to game. Love them, hate them, whatever it is. But I think that's the big reason why the Jets, one, he fits the offensive coaches there.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers does. And two, the transition, if they can get him back again to Zach Wilson, would be easier. If you bring in Lamar, then, hey, it's a whole different offense. They can fix it. They could do that. But then it kind of changes their
the future outlook.
The way they're going to operate, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And hey, one thing I want to just go off of what you said, 5-year guaranteed contract, right? I mean, again, it's so rare. Right, it is, and the fact that again, we're going into year 6 of the career. It's even more rare. Where but guys like Joe Burrow even and Josh Allen, what he has, Josh Allen's contract. I mean, if things went south, they would be able to get out of it after year 4. They could. I mean, really. So that would be, a little bit of an issue there, but just to explain or give some context, that it's just so rare that way. And even with Joe Burrow, he's going to sign a huge deal. We know that. But I guarantee, even with as awesome as he is, there's going to be after year 3 or 4, wait, if you did have some crazy injury or you did fall off earth and start not playing well, you're not going to get a 5th year $60 million payday with that as well.
Right.
So just to give people a little more context in that situation, just wanted to do that. We're going to hit more on the Packers and Jets in a minute, so I don't want to dive too much far as far as the Packers, the Jets, and the Aaron Rodgers conversation. I don't want to go too deep down that wormhole right yet. All right, another one from a man at Andrew Grills. I'm a Pats fan and a Mac Jones fan, but it's known that Belichick is a massive Lamar fan. What are the chances the Pats making a play for Jackson and trade Mac to the Raiders? Wow, an interesting little wrinkle there. I don't see that happening. I don't. I think the style of football that New England wants to play is still more Mac Jones related, right? They got Billy O'Brien back in the building. They've never really done that. I don't know. The team is more situated, I think, to go Mac Jones. It wouldn't be crazy to go Lamar Jackson, but I just don't see them making moves, trading away 2 first-round picks, and then giving a top-of-the-market deal to a quarterback where they wouldn't even give Tom Brady a top-of-the-market deal. And when he was winning 4 and 5 Super Bowls, I just don't see them being the type of team that does that.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien, the offensive coordinator, you and I were talking before we came on the air, what a really good offense he ran down in Alabama. It was truly, I almost hate the phrase pro style, but it was well designed, get it down the field, easy for the quarterback to make reads, which Bryce Young did. But just saying this, I mean, they can still run the offense they run now, and all you do is put in a few runs for the quarterback.
You're right. They did have Cam Newton. You're right.
we don't have to reshuffle everything in the world because, oh my God, we can't figure out how to do a quarterback run. I mean, so that's crazy. But that's how everybody thinks, that every play in the playbook on offense has to be changed because now we have Lamar.
Yeah,
No,
I know. It's
I've
an
already
overblown
argued that
subject.
point, and I'll
Right.
say it again. He can drop back and throw all the drop back passes. It's not something you got to design just for him. The runs, yeah, those are for him, and those are pretty good. So I think Bill O'Brien, if he was faced with this, he goes,
He could do
"Hey,
it.
I like my offense, and we'll run it, but we're going to have about 8 to 10 runs in there for Lamar every game, and everybody deal with that, which would be pretty incredible."
I would agree. It's an overblown subject. You're right. It's not this day and age of 2023. Even teams that don't have good running quarterbacks have some quarterback design runs in their playbook. So it's a way over talked about, over thought about subject. All right. Next one at Hyun Chang Ji. Okay, Hyun Chang Ji, excuse me for my pronunciation is wrong there. Should the Commanders go all in on Lamar? I think the Commanders have a really good, almost complete team and only need a QB and an O-line, which they can fix through the draft or free agency. I don't disagree with that. They'd be one of the teams that I would put in that Jets category to go, let's wait a week or so. Let's see if they kind of, think things out, maybe get a feel. Maybe they do get in contact with Lamar Jackson sometime here when, the league year officially starts and they start to get a feel for where his brain is at in this whole conversation. And maybe they do get. But that would certainly be a team that I look at to go, it's set up. They're dysfunctional. If they want to sell tickets and sell out the stadium, that fan base, they will come there to see Lamar Jackson. That's for sure. And I don't disagree with the point that, other than O-line, there's some weapons to play with there, and there's a lot of good guys on the defense to where it does make sense for the Commanders. I don't think it's a crazy thought to couple those two together. What about you, Dad?
Hey, put Lamar behind center there. The O-line will be a lot better. Okay, that's first thing. That's going to affect the offensive line right away, make them better, make them more aggressive because we're going to have some quarterback runs. And besides Atlanta, I think Washington makes great sense. Ron Rivera, you need to win. You need to do this. You got to be more than we're going to have a losing record, make the playoffs maybe, or anything like that. I think it's a big year for Ron Rivera. And gosh, think about him. It's really kind of up his alley. Helps his defense a little bit. And, the quarterback running, which we saw him do with Cam Newton and everything, he knows what it does for his football team and what it does to defenses. So it makes a lot of sense. The skill group is really good in Washington. So that I think it's just one thing, Christopher, and that's the owner, and that's laying out a lot of money.
Yeah,
and
right.
Maybe he doesn't want to do that now as he's, I guess, still trying to sell the team. I don't even read about it. I don't care. I just don't. It's just, oh my gosh, every week it's a different story. And I know you guys got to talk about it, but I don't.
Yeah, no, you don't. Good, thank God. You're right, because I'm sick of talking
thank God
about
is
that.
right.
You're right. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Signing Lamar, I would think would make it more valuable for him to sell it to some owner and go, look, it's the Washington Commanders, and you got your franchise quarterback, and so we'll see. Point. Yeah, it could go either way there. I know it's an interesting one.
But doesn't it make sense for Ron Rivera, the football team, where they're at? They're not like, I don't look at them and go, man, they have no chance to win games this coming year. They got a lot of players. They have a ton of high-end players.
Yes, they do.
They just don't have enough of the middle ground.
Right.
Those guys that really make up your team sometimes because there's so many of them. But they got the high end covered, I think, except the quarterback.
I'm with you there too. And again, they showed us some moments last year where you went, well, they got some elite parts of their football team that can compete against anybody. Right. Okay. Last one about Lamar. With all the teams that are out on Lamar, do the Titans make the most sense? Tons of money in 2024. I'll go first. I don't see that. Again, I think the Titans are a little bit in a somewhat. They got to refurbish, retool their team a little.
No question.
Right? The offensive line not quite the same as it was. The last few years. There's a reason they got Derrick Henry out in the trade market. They need a receiver. I think that's got to be part of their free agency draft plan. Pass rushers. They gave Bud Dupree a ton of money off of a pretty bad ACL injury. That didn't work out, so he's going to be gone. Harold Landry's coming back from it. David Long's a free agent. So there's too many holes, I think, on that football team. And just me on the outside looking in, I do believe that Vrabel and with Rand Carthon as the new GM, that they're team guys more than like, hey, let's just go in on one guy and then try to figure it out off of that. That would just be my assessment, so I guess I don't see that one happening.
Yeah, I don't see it happening at all. I think it's a remake down there. You said it. The guys are going to let go. Taylor Lewan, the offensive line not close. I think it's just one of the reasons why they're going to hang on to Ryan Tannehill, I guess, right? Am I right or wrong?
I would think so. Yes.
Because at least it gives them some hope to get something done, even though Ryan Tannehill, which I think he threw the football as well as any year of his career last year, but he's Ryan Tannehill. Oh, yeah. Hey, his talent is every bit up there with Derek Carr's and whoever, you bring all this at one group of quarterbacks in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rand Carthon, first year general manager, you want to reshape the football team. I think he's doing the right thing, and they got to kind of change who they are a little bit too. The way they play is great or good, and it should have got them to a championship game or a Super Bowl here in the last few years, but it didn't. Because the way they play, Christopher, does what? The margin of error is just not big.
Exactly right.
They're looking to beat your butt 20-17, 17-14, and that's hard to do now in the NFL just because of skill, systems, and, of course, quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly right. You get into those games against, Joe Burrow or Mahomes. It's a playoff game. I'm more times going to go, well, okay, yeah, your team might be better, but those guys are at quarterback, and they got the ball late in the game. I'm going with them, just like I did in the Super Bowl with that guy at quarterback. So, yeah, I think you're right about that. There's not a lot of room for error there, and they might have to readjust the way they play a little bit. All right, let's switch gears. It's enough Lamar talk. We both want to see Lamar get paid. I think at the end of the day, we both are huge believers in his talent. You said it right. It's an elite arm. Of course, it's elite movement, elite competitor. Has an effect on the locker room. Again, I know some of the negatives I was bringing up. I'm bringing them up from the franchise part. We got to be realistic here. We're going to keep it real, or we're going to everybody in the world. I think that's what's going on a little bit here. So,
there's no doubt this morning.
I can't take it. I know. I got a feel for it last night. So that's all we're going here. And at the end of the day, I think both of us would sit here and go, Lamar, please hire an agent. Please do that, because we want to see you get compensated fairly the right way, and we want to see you get your justice through the NFL world. We really do. Thanks for watching, homies. Hit subscribe to see all my unbuttoned videos. You get to see me, Ahmed Fareed, all the big player breakdowns, game breakdowns, player interviews, and my film analysis. So please subscribe. Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Peace out.